Hi, I'm Sally Baumgartner, and I was the first director of the RSVP program, Retired Senior Volunteer Program. There really had not been too much in the way of aging programs in the community other than the area agency on aging, which represented multi-city or multi-county area actually, and then also the wonderful foster grandparent program. When RSVP came into being, we had many nonprofit organizations that really benefited from the talents of older adults. There was a really wonderful group called the Women's Guild, but their job was to assemble and donate clothing throughout the community and maybe a few other items. But they were just a rambunctious group of women, all older, 65 to 85. And when I was getting married, they were the quilters also. And so they had this special talent of quilting. And I finally enlisted their help, and I just said, would you help me make a quilt? And so for 2 days, they found a home, and they set it up in the home. And we just had a blast. So they were really quite extraordinary. And I learned so much about the stories in their life.
Looking back, I see how RSVP volunteers greatly influenced my perspective on aging and resiliency. Hearing the stories about experiences in the war, hiding from Nazis in Europe, perseverance during the Great Depression, adapting to technology, ups and downs of relationships, cherishing traditions, and of course that attitude of gratitude that many volunteers had was certainly impactful to me. I often said they had a master's degree in living. They also made me sensitive to ageism and how we talk about older adults. Phrases like, oh, so cute, or so sweet, seem degrading and get my hackles up. And now that I'm 67, I realize I'm the age of some of the people that I recruited. I see why many volunteers did not feel old when they joined RSVP. Old seems more like an attitude than a number. There were many firsts during my involvement. We expanded the service area. We got our first van and used a CB radio to communicate. Betty Hitchnettler and I will always hear rusty buggy to rusty base in our minds. Whitney Senior Center became a reality then. Steve Hennis interned at RSVP and went on to do amazing things there. Thanks for the gift of pausing to think about RSVP's impact on me. Congratulations on 50 years of impacting the lives of so many volunteers, former staff, and the community. It's been an honor.
Well, I was really fortunate. I went to St. Cloud State University, and then I did my internship with RSVP way back in 1977. And then within 5.5 years, I was program coordinator and director. So I just feel like I grew up with RSVP, and I had so many mentors, tremendous people that helped me learn. Elmer Malinan from the city helped me learn budgeting. I had several volunteers that just kept saying to me, you can do this, you're young, but you can do this. It was a wonderful beginning for me personally with so many people that were just amazing.
I'm Sylvia Romanish Ferraretto, and I had the honor and privilege of being the 4th RSVP director. RSVP had a life-changing impact on me. My family and I moved to St. Cloud from New Jersey, so I was a newcomer to the area when I was appointed director. Through RSVP and the agreements we had with close to 100 nonprofit agencies, I got to know the excellent social service, educational, and healthcare systems in the St. Cloud area, and how senior volunteers could support and enrich their efforts. What a gift to be a part of strengthening our communities through RSVP. For sure, the best part of my job and the greatest impact that RSVP had on me were the volunteers. The faithful and dedicated women and men, yes, women being in the majority during my tenure, who were willing to offer their time and talents when and where help was needed. I learned so much from them and their life stories. They became my role models, and redefined the concept I had about aging. I remember fondly Frank Ostfalk, one of our van drivers who transported volunteers unable to drive to and from their assignments. He also played cribbage with kids at school, teaching them a great pastime and improving their math skills. His motto was, "I'd rather wear out than rust out." And that philosophy is true for all RSVP volunteers who reinforce how important activity, purpose, and socialization are to healthy aging. Congratulations to RSVP on 50 years of making a difference in the lives of elders and the communities they serve. And a big shout out and thank you to the City of St. Cloud for your commitment to aging services and for being our supportive sponsor from the beginning.
What I value most through RSVP is the relationships. There are so many relationships built between staff and volunteers, between volunteers and agency leaders, and volunteers serving together. Over the years, I heard many stories that friendships were formed through volunteering, and those volunteers supported each other through difficult times in their lives. Everything in life, the success that we have, is based on the relationships that we're able to build, and I think RSVP is an excellent way to build those relationships.
In the year 2000, when my wife died, I needed to find something to keep me busy. So when I joined RSVP, I found a lot of projects and a lot of things to do. And I think if I hadn't done that, I would probably have gotten depressed. But I think RSVP is one of the most valuable things that a senior can join, because it gets you in with people, it gets you doing jobs, getting mixed into things that you like to do. One of the things that we did, we built a huge playground in South St. Cloud, and you get to work with a lot of people and you learn from them at the same time. So
RSVP has been a main contributor to my happiness and success in my life following my retirement 8 years ago. I was a teacher and used to being on the go and thinking 10 steps ahead of myself, and I found myself wondering, what am I going to do now? I was familiar with RSVP, went in and spoke with Jennifer, and that launched the second part of my career. I have found that it has strengthened my belief in we are there for other people to help out in life.
When my uncle was in his end of life, and he needed hospice care. And so he was admitted into Quiet Oaks hospice facility, and I couldn't even imagine how the volunteers could have made it any better for us. They cooked for us. They were silently around, but very, very dedicated. It made my uncle's passing incredibly smooth and peaceful.
Biggest impact is my continued contact with people. RSVP has allowed me to share of my time. Time really is, to me, the most important element to be able to give. The opportunity to work with talented, knowledgeable, and dedicated staff. They are so filled with kindness and empathy and knowledge and caring.
What I can say is that RSVP has given me a community in which I am proud to be a contributor, and by which I'm appreciated, respected, and loved. As an immigrant and practicing Hindu, I do not have a large religious and cultural community here in St. Cloud to which I belong. By serving others through RSVP, I'm able to contribute my skills and strengths. Through my job, I've met so many volunteers and chatted with them about their experiences, the impact they've had on others, and the impact it has had on them. I am indeed honored to be an AmeriCorps RSVP volunteer.
What I value most about RSVP are the relationships and partnerships within and throughout each community. I think those are our greatest assets. The RSVP model focuses on personalized connection and attention to the specific needs, both the individual volunteers and the local organizations. It's this authentic approach which makes this program so incredibly valuable and successful.
There are a few things, how it's impacted my life. It gives me a sense of accomplishment, and it builds my self-esteem working with other people and the agencies. And naturally, I've made a lot of new friends through RSVP. And there's a sense of emotional stability also in working with adults my own age.
RSVP is there and has been there all along. Whether the director was Sylvia, Lisa, or Jennifer, the RSVP team has always worked really hard to be strong advocates for the volunteers, as well as really getting to know the community and the nonprofits and how the volunteers could add value to that nonprofit and really help us do our job in a much more economical way.
RSVP started friendship circles. I was a facilitator for one group of 3 women, older women, who didn't have technology anymore because most of them had given them to their grandchildren. So they really didn't have contact with the outside world except for television. One of them lived in a nursing home and so couldn't even have visitors. So this impacted these 4 women and myself to a great degree because we had somebody that we could talk to once a week. So ours went on for over a year, once a week, almost 100% attendance. One woman had 100% attendance. And it was just one of the things that I felt really good about because I felt as though I was doing something worthwhile to help other people in the community.
Program has given me a chance to appreciate more what I have and to give me the opportunity to help others, which is in itself a wonderful feeling to have. I also volunteer with the ESL program out in Quarryview, and that's given me a chance to get in touch with people from all around the world who are coming here to learn English. I really enjoy that, especially coming from a teaching background. It's just up my alley.
Mahatma Gandhi once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others. So many people in our age are going through a life change, whether it be retirement or loss of a loved one or maybe moving to another area, that you need to find yourself again. So when you get involved with the community, you get a whole new outlook on life. You get a new sense of self-worth. You get to meet new friends or maybe connect with an old one. You get to learn new skills or maybe dust off some of your old skills. And the best thing about it, and I think what keeps people coming back to RSVP for the last 50 years, is that it's fun. It's fun to be connected with the community. It's fun to make new friends. It's just fun.
Working in nonprofit management for 25 years, I got to experience the difference RSVP volunteers made on the mission of our nonprofits. Now working for RSVP, I get to work with over 700 volunteers and help them get involved in 130 different organizations.
What I value most about the RSVP program is the many opportunities it provides, not only to the volunteer, but also the people that it impacts, that they come across. And I believe service to humanity is the best work of life, and there's no better way than providing the numerous opportunities which RSVP does provide to the community.
RSVP, just what an amazing bunch of people, volunteers in our community, giving back to our community, not only as leaders, but as servants, community service, and volunteers. RSVP, what a great organization to become part of and be something great.
I retired about 2 years ago from teaching. I was very concerned about what I was going to do with all this free time. Started doing some Googling about volunteering and discovered RSVP. RSVP has really helped enrich my life. RSVP has helped me to make new friends, meet a lot of people, and make great social connections.
Well, to tell you the truth, I had to sit and think about that last evening, but there's so much to say. I can imagine me just sitting at home and not doing anything. Now I'm out and about and helping RSVP with their projects. I meet a lot of people and have built a lot of friendships. It's been wonderful.
The magic of RSVP happens when the program staff can find just exactly the right fit for the volunteer and what their interests, skills, time, talents are, and then the organization and what they need. Early on in my career with RSVP, there was a advisory council member who said, RSVP is like building a ship. And you look for all of the different kinds of wood because a ship to float and be successful out in the ocean needs to have different types of wood. That marriage of what the volunteer is looking for and what the organizations and community members need, that's the beauty of where RSVP happens.
Social gatherings are the best thing that can happen for seniors. They need to have a place to go, a thing to do, and a memory to share afterwards.
I really believe that the staff for this RSVP program, they really care about the volunteers. It's obvious how much time they spend and how they get to know the volunteers, and also the community organizations that they'll be serving in. With the volunteers, they really try to identify what their interests and capabilities are. And with the community organizations, I think that they truly try to figure out how the volunteers can add value to the community by serving with those organizations. That's what I think has been the secret to their success for the past 50 years.
Though my grandmother is miles away in Africa, being able to sit down and listen to the stories of senior citizens, being able to hear about their wisdom, learn about their history, learn about the history of the U.S., of Stans County, built me and made me feel welcome in this community. There is an African adage that says, a village without the elderly is like a well without water.
I have witnessed RSVP impact so many people around me, working with thousands and thousands of volunteers. We've watched an individual go from being able to stand and now is in a wheelchair, but comes in every day, almost 12 hours a week, never misses a day, and is there to help and assist clients all day long. We've evolved with him on different abilities and what he can do within the food shelf, but watching him just grow and knowing that he always has a place to find home, he always has a place to find friends, and that we are willing to make sure that he's somebody that will always be a part of our program.
I think that RSVP is one of the best things that happens to any community. So much out there that we can do to enlarge our life and make our lives happier by making ourselves happier, but also others. Two-way street, win-win, both ways. I think RSVP is a way to go.
One of the things that I value the most about RSVP is its true ability to be that bridge between those who need and those who give. And by being that bridge, they're also helping to build community through the America Reads program, which I was fortunate to be a part of when I was with the organization. So we were able to match older adults with youth in the community to focus on literacy. And it was so neat to see what came of that.
To be honest, it all started in the late 80s with my father. He had retired, needed something to do, needed to get out of the house. And for the next 20 or 30 years, every time I'd go over there, we'd talk RSVP. He'd talk about the volunteers he worked with, and he'd get really excited about talking about the folks that were putting him and placing him in different opportunities throughout the city. And he would have a card table set aside, and he'd have all the thank you cards laid out there for us children to come and look at. And he would have this one infamous question of, what am I supposed to do with all these thank yous? And then look at all these lunch invites. They want me to come to all these things. I don't have time. I got volunteering things to do. April 27th, he would have turned 99 years old. But in his last 20 or 30 years of experience on this earth, he was just elated with having all the opportunities and having all the connections with the RSVP volunteer family.
For decades, RSVP has been nurturing community and enhancing lives. And you heard it, the verdict is out. AmeriCorps Seniors RSVP is a win-win. But who's really winning? Is it a homebound resident answering their door to receive a warm, nutritious meal and a smile from perhaps the only person who they've had contact with that day? Maybe it's the child who receives encouragement and steadfast patience as their senior volunteer helps them learn how to read. How about the community member new to this country that finds friendship and support from their senior volunteer ELL tutor? Or is it our local, state, and federal funders who see a return on their investment grow exponentially as their citizens give back hundreds and thousands of volunteer service hours to improve their communities? Maybe the winner is the individual age 55 plus that joins RSVP to get involved. They tell us they're searching for something meaningful in their lives. They tell us they've recently retired and they have a little extra time to give back. They tell us they're new to the community and they want to meet other people. They tell us their wives are nudging them to get out of the house. And sometimes they tell us recently their spouse or loved one has passed and they need a reason to get up in the morning. Whatever the reason, however our members decide to get involved and volunteer, they unintentionally become recipients of physical, mental, and emotional benefits. Research proves time and time again that being of service and doing kindness produces the single most reliable increase in our very own well-being. Personally, I think every citizen in central Minnesota is winning. To be surrounded by selfless people who do something outside of themselves is the ultimate inspiration. And I am grateful to be a part of this RSVP family.
Just a few words from a book that my wife and I bought a couple days ago, and it's entitled Finding Muchness. Got just a short phrase that I'd like to read. The book is filled with little hints and suggestions as to how to make more out of life if you're able. So the one that I chose that exemplifies RSVP is the following. Know the value of being there for someone else. Doing good and feeling good are connected.
I just value the interaction that I have with the other volunteers. I value what how the staff treats us with respect and care, always having humor. This is the mother giving advice to her daughter who is Cinderella. It is, have courage and be kind, for where there is kindness, there is goodness. And where there is goodness, there is magic. So RSVP is the kindness, the goodness, and the magic.
Well, there's a book that I read recently, and it was written by an 86-year-old woman. And in it she says, what I remember most in life when I said yes to things that I originally wanted to say no, where people took a little risk. They were willing to, offer themselves to volunteer, or maybe they were willing to go on that vacation that their daughter wanted them to go with them. But those are the things that I remember too. When you set out to do something where you make yourself a little bit vulnerable, and that's what thousands of RSVP volunteers have done over the years, and thank goodness that they've done that for the community.
Well, RSVP has had a tremendous impact on the community, not only on the community as a whole, but individuals who have an opportunity to give back to the community, people who have built the community and have put so much into their jobs, and to have the opportunity to retire, to come back and actually to remain active and to continue to contribute. Not only for the individuals that they are serving as a community as a whole, but also for themselves. But it is one of those things that, as a mayor of a city, you know, if we actually had to pay folks to do all of what volunteers do and RSVP does, I don't think there's a city that could even come close to being able to raise enough in a budget to do it. So it is a tremendous service when people give their time. Time is so valuable, and to give their time back to the community is something that really has a tremendous impact on the community, the individuals volunteering, and also the individuals being served. You know, I've got a lot of memories of RSVP. In fact, most are revolving around people, but there's one in particular, the limo, the ride in style to deliver meals. It is really, it's a great opportunity, just watching, especially the volunteers having that opportunity to deliver and to watch people that are grateful for, and the communication and the conversation there. But it's fun. Not only it's a great opportunity to give back to the volunteers by allowing them to ride in style, but also it's a neat opportunity for those who are being served too, to see that recognition and the gratitude that those folks are serving people on a regular basis. But also, you know, it was a great free meal too, so appreciate it. That is one of many memories for RSVP.
Hi, I'm Bruce Messelt, and I serve as administrator here in Sherburne County.
And I'm Dan Weber. I'm the Assistant County Administrator here at Sherburne County. And we utilize our RSVP volunteers at our front desk. They are the first point of contact when someone enters the building and when someone makes a phone call to the government center.
We can't share with you enough how our citizens and residents talk about the benefits and the welcoming feeling they get when they come here and meet our RSVP volunteers. In addition, our staff are super excited at the benefits we receive when the volunteers help our residents and visitors navigate the government center.
So we want to take the time to not only thank our volunteers, but thank the entire RSVP organization for all you do in the community.
So on behalf of Sherburne County, thank you RSVP for all you do.
Wright County is excited to be a recent partner with RSVP. We look forward to the opportunity that this presents to our Wright County seniors to shape and support our community. While Wright County is new to RSVP, I worked with RSVP volunteers over 35 years ago at the Whitney Senior Center in St. Cloud with Catholic Charities. The fun we had and the inspiration of these senior men and women in my life was truly inspirational. Thank you for what you do, RSVP. We look forward to this celebration, this huge milestone, as well as to the future generations you'll be creating of seniors working with their communities going forward.
Hi, I'm Sarah Albright, the Deputy Regional Administrator in the North Central Regional AmeriCorps office. I just want to wish the City of St. Cloud a happy 50th anniversary for its RSVP program. Thanks for all you do and all the volunteers do in the community every day. Thank you.
Happy anniversary to City of St. Cloud RSVP. I'm Michael Laverty, the Regional Administrator, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do for your community. Happy anniversary.